Okay, let's change the camera. Welcome to another live streaming extravaganza from MudBrains TV Do It Yourself. Cardboarding Vader Day 8. A lot of time has passed since I started. A lot of improvements have been made. In the last live stream, I started to work on the mouthpiece for dear Mr. Vader. And, oops, here, it turned out quite nice. Maybe I can show it in the upper camera. Okay, so you can get a better view of it. And this is roughly the quality that I want to have for the whole build. So this is like the first piece with a better surface finish. And now I will use this piece to work from it and to get to the finished version of Vader. Today I will focus on, let me put that away. I will focus on updating the main helmet here. For this is all just very rough, and now I want to take this one step further and start to get rid of the coarseness of this cardboardy look, and I will work on the edges. I want to implement this into the helmet. Yeah, and I think that's all that I said right now is more than I will be able to finish today. So, I will get started. And as a first, act of business, I forgot to get my glue ready. This and then here. I will start to flatten down these very obvious and coarse edges here. Same with here and here and here and here, so that I can get a better look of the whole, or that I can get a better feel of the surfaces that are present in this Vader build. And to flatten them down, I use the trusted technique of inserting glue into these into the side of the cardboard, into the wavy part of the cardboard. With this, I want to soften the cardboard and then shape it so that the whole surface starts to become one unified curved surface. Hello, Cookie Communist. Konnichiwa. Back to you. Thanks for joining this live stream. Okay, I will let it, I give it some time to soak in, and for everything to move along a bit faster, I will start to inject the glue on the other side too. So this way it can soak in here while I work on the other side. Oh. And like here, when there's just this very rough edges that can eat up a whole lot of glue, I normally use my fingers to just push it in there. To me, that's more convenient as compared to doing it with this little tool that I use to smooth it down. Yes, it is surface time. Surface time. Now it's as with this piece here, that should like set the bar for the finished surface. Now I want to have this kind of surface on the rest of the model. Now this has had some time to soak in there. Now I just press down on these edges and in this way, maybe I hope it's possible to catch on camera here, I can start to really round it off. Here, I wasn't able to insert glue into this part, for it was closed off a bit. But what I will do is, because there's always some glue that comes out of the cardboard once I press it down, I will take the glue from the one side and move it to the other side, so I don't waste more glue than necessary, or as necessary. The triangle looks pretty nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, it took way too long, way too long to build it. It was like I don't know, 8 hours or something. But there was a lot of trial and error and trying to find a good way to do it. Now I think here it should become obvious, here when you see it from the front, that there is a nice curvature going on here. And once I carry this curvature across the whole helmet here, that should be a really good foundation for the next steps. Okay, this should have soaked in long enough. Here, and once you do that for yourself, you will really feel the difference between cardboard that has not been soaked in glue and cardboard that has. Here, it's now it's really kind of easy to break the cardboard in a way. And with break I mean to break its shape, its dry shape, and to just angle in all the overlapping pieces. So one more homogeneous. So the surface starts to form one surface here. That's a nice start, actually. So I will work my way around the model now and try to fill up all pieces of it with some glue where I can see the wavy pattern of the cardboard. As I said before, on this larger kind of edges, I will use my fingers to push in the glue. Now, the added benefit of softening the surface this way is that once the glue dries inside the cardboard, it really strengthens the whole model. This way the foundation will get even stronger, and I really need it to be very strong, or as strong as I can get it, because I will cut the whole thing apart. First and most obvious thing why I need to cut it apart is, of course, the need to separate it, as the original Vader mask was separatable, which is here on the top of this lower detail. Once across, so then I end up with a color piece and with a face mask piece, and the face mask piece will be cut out in the on the back of the head. So, and to be able to perform nice cuts there, I need a good foundation. For it would be of no use to me if everything deforms after I cut it apart, because my whole idea, or the whole idea behind this, I never tried it, but I guess it works, is to build everything from one surface, and then after I cut it apart, all parts should like perfectly meet. And I think it's easier to build the helmet this way, as opposed to starting to build each piece separately and then really have to struggle to bring all the edges together. There's a question in the chat. Does the viscosity of the glue matter? It very much depends on what you're doing. For this part here, especially where I try to fill up all the cardboard with it, it's not really beneficiary if it's too runny, if it's too liquidy. So it's good that it's a bit that it's got the higher viscosity, lower viscosity, that it's a bit thicker. For if it would be too watery, it would everything would just run into the cardboard, and I want it to stay there where I apply it. so that it actually just weakens or soaks into this part, the parts of the cardboard that I actually wanted to soak into. I sometimes water the glue down so that it gets more flowy or more liquid, but that's mainly for reasons of when I want to, like, I did the Necronomicon, and for me to be able to apply the paper, this brown paper, across all of across all of the surface of the book, there it was really beneficial to have very water-like glue, for I could use a brush and spread it around everywhere, and then just cover up on it, brush, cover up on it, brush, cover up on it. And yeah, was it? Hey Pigu, welcome. No, I don't use different wood glues. I just water this glue down a bit. So I got like a lot of bottles, and sometimes there's just a little bit left within the bottle, and then I just add like some drips of water into the bottle to like have a more liquidy solution in that. So I'm always using this glue here. What does KK mean? I I think I will, or I expose myself to be really not dumb but uninformed. Okay, here, if you watch this bulk here from the front now, it starts to have one really really nice curvature across the whole upper part here, and that's what I'm looking for. Now this glue dried in a little too much in here at some places, so it starts to get a bit harder to push it down the way that I want to. And now oh, here, that's nice that I have added glue here, for I can use this to smear it across here. For when the glue has been sitting on the cardboard too long, or has soaked in too long, then it becomes so sticky that I can't run the tool across the whole surface. It will always just and then I actually start to rip some pieces out of the cardboard, which is okay, but yeah, okay, video game language, but like what? What does it stand for? Please, and please enlighten me. My son will be like, "Oh my God, Papa, what is wrong with you? You know nothing." Okay, I think I have to get up to put in a little more force. Oh, now I'm gluing my trousers. And for this, right now, I need some water, which I actually put here to drink, but here I got a little. Okay, so you explained it before. Okay. Okay. Okay, and so you just use a KK for it's the same bottom, and it's easier to push that one button twice. Now, if I wet my finger here, then I can like really smear across the whole surface. Sometimes I use my fingernail to push down on it, and when my finger is wet like this, it really like floats across the surface, like with no resistance, and that's nice to even out the whole surface. There is it visible. Polish vodka. Vodka with pivo. Okay. Here. This, you mean? Or I know there are some sellers in Berlin that sell this with vodka, but then it's just 250 milliliters, and not a here. This is from some yogurt to as a 250 milliliter shot of vodka, which is like something that I don't really like. I don't like strong alcohols. No, I don't like that. Okay, now here there's still some eyebrow stuff that I can attack with the glue. Here it's done. I can maybe put some glue here to the front of the head. As always, just trying to push it in there, that it gets in as far as, not as possible, but far enough to Hello, Original Craft Design. Welcome to my live stream, and thanks for the nice words. Good job, he says. Here, this is the level of quality that I'm shooting for once this whole thing is done. Have you seen any of the previous videos, or is this like your first glimpse of this Vader thing here? And here I have to move fast, for it was just a little bit of glue that I pushed into there. Which of course means that it will dry much quicker. very, very nice. It starts to come together. I think the next detail that I will try to work on now is here the bridge of the front and the bridge of the nose. For this angle here is way too it's much it has to roll off smoother, not like I have it here. So I will add some layers of cardboard here until there's a nice and smooth transition down till here. For this part will be cut away and then replaced with this. I don't want the snout to come out like this. It will be, yeah. Here. I will cut away like this here, like 8 millimeters from the model, and prepare a nice even base for this, and then I will glue this on, and the surfaces that come from here I will start to layer in once this is attached. So this is like the starting point for the final surface of the for the front of the mask. Okay, here this nose bridge should be fixed quite easily. I just I don't need it to be too wide. Here I will this is the basic first layer here. And yeah, I know that I need more material, like right in the corner of this thing, and I can like flood this piece here really with some glue, so it gets as soft as possible, so I can just build it or sculpt it around this here, but also across the nose. Here and there it helps to just apply a little bit more glue. For this way, here you can maybe see it. The cardboard gets much softer this way, and I can like really use it like some kind of Fimo or like some plastiline. Oh, here the whole thing is still sticky, so I have to make watch out what I touch. Oh, no, here. This is actually where you can see it. You know, the glue is very sticky here, and if I try to work on it with this tool right now, it will just peel down the glue. So I here can use some water to get this surface to be sculptable again. But overall, I need to give it time that it really can dry. So, but here there's so much to do on this model that it's not a problem that I can continue. Yeah, there's so much to do here. Now, what I just noticed while applying this to the bridge of the nose is that I need to sculpt down everything here, or need to I need to curve the surface on this whole nose thing here, and I should do that before I apply additional layers of cardboard there. For once I let this the pieces that I add to it dry, all the cardboard in the surrounding area will be really stiff and hard to sculpt, for the glue will have dried on the inside of the cardboard. So I will just push cardboard to the inside of the piece that I attached here, and this way I keep it from drying. And now I will just here gives this a few seconds, and then this should be sculptable, and then I sculpt this bridge part of the nose, and then I can just overlap what is here. And as long as I take attention to its drying state, this should not be a problem. It will just be a problem when I let it dry completely. Now I can round off this extension of the bridge of the nose. And this will not be the last step on it, but now I'm like working on the foundation for the then final layers. I'm not really sure if I will I'm not really sure if I will just cover it with some brown paper, or if there will be additional cardboard pieces attached to that. What is a piece of 1 bottle of glue in Germany? This here is 550 grams, and it costs roughly 10 euros, which is kind of expensive. But if you buy it in larger quantities, and with this I don't mean like 10 bottles at once, but there's like big big buckets of it, then it comes down to something like 5 euros for 550 grams. So, but 1 bottle takes you a long way. And as I said before, you can water it down for certain kinds of things that you want to do, and then you will have even more mileage out of it. Okay, so I'm always trying to check if some seams start to open up again. For as long as the whole thing is drying, sometimes here the different layers of cardboard just start to come apart, but that is easily fixable with some pressing down. Only thing is, you have to be aware of that and have to like watch all your edges that you are working on. And I'm still trying to make sure that the curvature runs across the whole surface and that there's, yeah, that it's an even surface flow that I'm creating. So as you can see, the bridge of the nose already looks, maybe here's something behind it, looks a bit better. So I will now add one more layer to it, and then it should be the way that I want it to. Here, and once again I will position some additional cardboard like right in the middle of the arc that I'm trying to build here. So to raise it up a bit, even a bit more. Okay, and I'm still trying to just make sure that it's all in one smooth line. Or I want it to be something that really looks as if everything is one surface and comes from one cast. So here now, at this step in the build process, it's all a bit of a back and forth. For it's not the best thing to work on one part for, or not the best thing is a poor choice of words. It's beneficial to just start at one place and then work your way around the model. For this way you can have some parts dry to a state that will allow you to add further stuff to these surfaces. Once the whole surface is soaked with glue, it becomes difficult to do certain kinds of operations on these. For example, surfaces that are still wet are extremely difficult to cut. I'm just always like turning the model, trying to look for inconsistencies in the curvature. And yeah, I'm doing a nose job on Vader, as said in the chat. It looks like it. Yeah, Vader's job needs to be fixed too. And I'm making his nose a little bit more pointy right now. So, and that's something that's a kind of thing that's very common in plastic surgery. But that's a nice observation for it really looks like this. Okay. And the curvature is as far as I'm concerned, much improved now. For it's not this like 90 degrees angle here. Here from what was something like nearly 90 degrees, we now have a gentle slope, which is a bit extreme here right now. So maybe I will add one more stripe of cardboard there to soften the upper part of the curvature into this upper bridge. Now, here, this is just like, yeah, working with clay or other materials. It's just looking at the surface, and then it's deciding, okay, here I need to add something, there I need to take something away, and so it's not much different to other sculpting methods. Okay, this is not wide enough. I need to needs to wrap it around the sides of the nose a bit more. Oh, and I will like pre-sculpt the cardboard once again, as I do most of the times. Okay, and this the difference between both surfaces was a bit too much for this piece of cardboard that I had cut before. So I will do an intermediate step here and glue something to this spot, and this way I get a more even surface flow. Sang Myung Kok, hi! Welcome! There's a lot of people coming in to the stream today that have been there before. That makes me very happy. Okay, this looks kind of good. Yeah, I still have to push down on this bridge of the nose thing. For it is not in its final shape yet. Okay, now for the first time I will try to address the eyes. Now I will fill in glue. Into the space between. This to round off the surface and to start to blend both surfaces from the inside of the eye and the outside of the eye together. This way it will be much easier to cover them with one piece of maybe paper or cardboard or multiple smaller pieces later on. Hey Samyong, have you continued on your model? Okay, I will fill this inside piece of cardboard too and try to blend it into the part that it has been glued upon. So I'm really I'm looking forward to what this thing will look like once I start to round off all the edges. For I don't want to take too much of the of this angularity between the surfaces away. So this should be just a small radius curvature here. So that it still has this very kind of aggressive angular basic design to it. But as I mentioned in an earlier stream, it's extremely valuable or important to round off your edges. For just it's just possible for light to reflect of a rounded surface, and if it's if it's a perfect 100% 90 degrees edge with no curvature between both surfaces, you will have no light reflecting there, and this will look not very organic. Some people like that, but I'm not of that fraction of peoples. Here, once the light is can cast a highlight across an edge, you have a division between both surfaces, and this just makes the whole thing look much more interesting. Okay, here this starts to come together. For it will be like as rounded as these surfaces here. Now I will move to the other eyebrow and the interior of the eyebrow. And here, first, the inside is shouldn't be too hard to push down. but I just want to push down the upper part of it for, yeah, I glued this in there to fill up the inside of the eye more. Okay, now I just first round it off to the outside, then I pull all the material back to the inside, and back and forth like that. Until I like the result of the edge. And once this tool here can't really serve me anymore, I start to dip my finger into the water again and start to soften out the whole thing like that. I should always take before and after pictures, but maybe I will just take some stills from previous episodes just to illustrate the difference of each step here. Here, this is just sculpting, and I'm trying to have the same roundness to this edge from start to finish. And all this is just preparation for the next layer or layers that will be applied to this specific surface. Okay, this has to dry a bit, and I will always check back in to it. And while I'm waiting for it to dry, I will start to fill some of the holes in the surface, especially here, and a little bit here, to just help with unifying everything. So I will just cut small pieces of cardboard. Maybe this is best watched from the top camera. Here I will just try to fill up all gaps that I encounter. And most of here there's not a whole lot of precision needed. It's really just first filling it up, and then the only pieces where I will be like very precise are the ones that I will need near the final surface. Here, this is just some filling up the holes, so there's a foundation for the next layer to stick onto. Here, this is a good way to get rid of maybe next rebellion mask on Star Wars. For Star Wars, I think the next thing that I'm like really interested in is Imperial blaster. That is very high up on my want to do list. And the next project that I will pick for live streaming will definitely be something that can be finished a bit quicker. For this here will take like forever, and I think it's much to ask for something to be finished. It's much. It's just a whole lot of live streams to watch before the finished product finally shows up, and this is I don't know if this is the right thing to do on a live stream, but I am learning and trying to improve. And yeah, maybe you can give feedback on that. Should it be something like a 10-hour build, which is 3 days of live streaming, or maybe one long day? Is this preferred, or do you like this kind of monster builds? For now here, this is me the first time live streaming, and I'm building the most complex model that I've built for my channel yet. So my thinking behind it was that I want to learn how to do this live streaming stuff. So it's kind of good to pick a really complex model. For once this is finished, I will have live streaming figured out somehow. But on the other hand, there's a lack of different content on the channel when I'm just working on this for the whole time. Okay, here is still some stuff that I can smooth out, and it's actually in the part of the helmet that will be cut later on, so additional strength is welcome. Okay. Another thing to note is once the surface or the glue is dried on the surface, I can still mold or sculpt the surface. For the glue inside of here is still wet, and it will take a long time before it's really completely dry. So in the beginning I make sure that the seams are closed, and then I can work on the overall curvature. And the longer the glue had to dry, the better I can actually sculpt it then, for it's much stickier. If you know what I mean, to repeat myself with this stupid sentence of if you know what I mean. So me just going back and forth on this model. Here, this hole has been filled in quite nicely. Now I'm just trying to find spots where the surface is kind of off, where there's the connection between two surfaces that can be improved, or that could be improved. I'm just looking around the whole model to find these spots that need some attention. And this stage here is really about building surface continuity. Here's some edges come apart, as I said before. So it's always good to check and recheck all of the edges. Okay. It's really good or easy for me that there's this cut-off plate. For this time I can stand the helmet down like this and really apply some pressure to it. If that would be absent right now, it would be much harder to do some of this stuff. And I purposefully did not start to add any detail to the top of the helmet here and to the neckline here. For the neckline won't stay like this. Here it will be longer in the front, like or here. There will be a part that will be pulled down a bit, but once I implement that, I will not be able to have it stand up like this anymore. Okay, here this starts to come apart. This starts to come apart, and this and this and this. Just constantly pushing and constantly trying to make sure that the surface stays the way that I want it to be. There's just some little gaps that I try to fill up. For the whole front of the mask will still be something of a challenge, because all this here is supposed to be one continuous surface, and that's like a lot to... There's still a lot left to do to make it appear like that. There's a lot of challenge to the front side. Now it's much easier to add some detail on here to build a separate piece like this, for example. But if the whole surface has to be one continuous one, that's really difficult, or a whole lot of fine-tuning is required. I just want to get rid of this overlap here. I want this edge to be really. I want this to be really straight. Okay. Here and here, I want to cut away some material too. Very good. And here you can see that I use some very coarse cardboard, and that this is nothing like a real curvature, which leads me to fixing these, like, yeah, it's like a canyon in here, with some additional cardboard that I will just glue in there, and in this way trying to smooth out the whole thing. This should work quite well here, but to make it easier, I will try to have this. Yeah, I try to make a triangle from this piece here, so it's easier to get it into. Oops. Finished before the new movie Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is absolutely necessary to have this thing finished before it. But right now everything or every date that I would like set for myself would just be pure speculation, for I'm sure there will be some problems along the way that I don't foresee, but I hope to have it finished the mid of October, something like that. I hope earlier, but hope is not a very good companion on this thing, for it will just, it just takes a lot of work and a lot of back and forth, and maybe there will be some proportions that I will find disgustingly out of place, or there will be single things that I will rip apart to redo them. Yeah, I don't know how long it will take, but I don't want it to last until December. So, before Last Jedi. That is very important for me. Here, I fill up this crease here. I don't know how it will show up. I had like this, so just a bit of surface cleanup work here. Okay. I still don't know when I will put this in. Yeah, I haven't decided which will be the right time, or when is the right time to insert this piece. Yeah, I don't know yet. I think now I will try to blend this top part in a bit more. Even though there's still a lot of stuff to do just around here. So these things here will completely be replaced, or will be replaced completely. They're just placeholder geometry. Okay, one thing that I have to address is here this side is here. Can you see that from the top? This side is a bit more recessed as opposed to this side, and so now I'm thinking about if I cut this side down to match the proportions of this side, or if I build this side up to match this side here. Maybe I will try to cut this down. For here there's a lot of hot glue. Okay. Oh, okay, I can get rid of the hot glue. And I will just try to sketch it in. And then I will try to have a look at what's the easier thing to do, the easiest route here. Okay, here this part of the mask is lower than this part, so I need to build this up a bit, and I will do that right now. And for this I will start at the front side of the edge there, and then I will first add material here just to the front, and then I will try to have one piece of cardboard then I will try to use one piece of cardboard to cover all the Frankensteininess that I will produce here. Okay. Here, maybe I can get around my problem which I had with the depth of the mask. Which was just building it up this way, and I have to do some work here. So that means I can even start to add stuff so that this edge is pulled out a bit. And this is roughly the size. And I really don't want to move on to the next step with this mask before I am sure that I like all the proportions. Well, that's like the worst thing that I could do, is to just think, yeah, well, okay, it might work out. But once all surfaces are like really tidied up and all the surfaces have been taken care of and have a very nice finish, then all errors will be way more visible. Here right now, a lot of the errors are just hidden because there's so many different textures across the whole model. There's my painted things here. There's some markings which have been on the cardboard from before. So it's hard to judge the whole surface. But once everything is cleaned up, all errors will become very obvious. And this should be something that you are aware of. That the higher the surface quality, the easier it will be to spot errors. And that's actually why I finished one piece, or like finished, not really finished, but tried to get it to the level of surface quality that I want to have for the whole build, so I can compare everything against it, and this way I can use it as a reminder of what the finished build will look like. Okay, I'm filling in, and it starts to the volume on this side of the cheek starts to equal that on the other side. The overlap will be cut away once everything is dry, or once it has dried. And now I will try to have one continuous piece of cardboard for this whole surface here. And sometimes it's difficult to measure a surface. Once it's on there, before it's on there, I'm just trying to hold my cardboard next to it and then try to imagine the line like out a few centimeters. Okay, this here, and when you get close to it, you can just like push in the cardboard, and I'm just here like drawing onto it with my fingernails. And when I press it into certain corners, very good. Yeah, I can then use the edge to actually glue everything onto the mask. Okay. This is once again just information for a very rough cut. exterior. That's good. There's some. There's a gap there. I felt it through the cardboard, which I will fill before I glue the cardboard to the top of it. Okay. Okay. I should think about some music for the podcast. It's very quiet in my apartment here, and I mean, all that I hear is my voice, and that's like maybe not something that I want to hear all the time. Okay, this can be glued down on top of here, and while I was checking the proportions left and right, I saw another big problem with the relationships between the different surfaces. And I will see how I will be able to address that. But first I have to glue this in here. Okay, what I discovered now is, let me show you. Yeah, I hope you can see that from the top there. Is that the corner of the eye on this side recedes like, let's say, 1.5 centimeters more to the back as compared to this side here, and that's shit. That's really not what I wanted. So there's different ways to address this. And the first would be that I this is annoying. I hoped that I checked for stuff like that, but nope, I haven't. Okay, first maybe I will check it against the not the original mask, but just how far the eye recedes here. Tak. Tak. Actually, this was not really. Yeah, it's very hard to say, but I think this side is more accurate, actually, which means I need to have this eyebrow move more to the back, or move more to the back, whatever. So I'm just to kind of be sure what I'm doing now, as I try to measure the front of the eye. Now, just to have a basic understanding how much surface here. What the measurement on the surface would be. Here, this would be now from the edge of the eye, from the outer corner of the eye to the inner corner of the eye. Now I will turn this. Okay, I see it has to be more in the back. The implications of this are that once I move this back, I will have to extend this surface again. I will have to deal with this curvature here. Everything is affected by it. I should have been more careful when I started doing this. Now I will just try to cut the whole eyebrow up. I try to loosen it from everything that is beneath it. There's quite a lot of layers of cardboard here that I have to get to, have to cut through. Okay, here I have removed the upper part. Now I can come in here and uh-oh. Okay, the nice thing here, or what is at least of benefit to me now, is that I can still use this structure here, and I just try to pull it back. I cut away all the parts that try to keep me from moving it. And now I will check and recheck. Oops. Where this is supposed to end up, and Yeah, I will use some hot glue for this. For this is like a very structural part, and this needs to withstand quite a lot. But maybe this is a good thing that this happened, for I can show you or like demonstrate that it's not that hard to change stuff as soon as you catch it early enough. So now what I said before like became very true. If I wouldn't have caught this this error now, and maybe I would have just caught it after I like finished the surface and everything, then it would have been much more difficult to change the structure of the mask. But here right now it's really just a little bit of damage. Here I just freed it there. Then I will have to fill in this stuff again, but it's not all that difficult. For this structure, and the surface is still very rough. Now I will try to do it right this time. And I think it's like this. What? I will have to be more careful. This has not heated up yet. This is so hard to see. Okay, and I hope not to spread this hot glue all over the model. For hot glue is the enemy of our surface detail. This looks about right. Now I will fill in some more hot glue here. So that the hot glue can actually have some kind of strength here. And the rest will be done with my trusted wood glue. And then I will just have to work over these areas again and like fill in the parts that I removed from the surface. Okay, and of course, before because I started to change this whole arc here now, there's some subsequent things that I have to do. Now I will try to glue this part down, even though there's this is difficult, but here the whole inside is covered with dried wood glue, and this is like no good surface. Or if I just use the wood glue on the wood glue, it won't have any strength at all. This means I just free up some of the underlying layers of cardboard, or these can be glued down. And once they're glued down kind of securely, I will add additional layers to the top of it. And in this way, I hope I can hide all the damage that I did now. No, it's not just that I hope I can hide. Sure, I can hide everything. It's just a bit of additional work that I have to go through now, for I haven't paid enough attention to the proportions of the mask. No, but it's much better to catch an error, and to correct it at a somewhat early stage, as compared to each day or each hour later. Okay, this is a. I will have to just push this down all the time now. For it wants to come apart. Maybe I can try to glue down this here as well, even though there's a lot of hot glue, but maybe the glue just finds some openings within the hot glue. And this way it can make a connection. Okay, I was not hoping for this, or I had no plan on showing you rough repairs, for this is like kind of boring. Especially there's these surfaces here are under a lot of pressure. There's always some pulling going on. Therefore, the eyebrow wants to return to the state that it had before. And this means I have to really actively hold it down the whole time. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer here. But yeah, I don't care if I dent the surface now. for this part I will need to rebuild it. That's a shame. That's a shame. Okay, for my next live streaming project, I am kind of sure that I will take or attack stuff that is a bit easier to do. For here, this is like really, yeah, it's just no good entertainment to see me fix all this stuff. And when the chat is very slow, there's not a whole lot that I can talk about. Okay. What I can tell from looking at this construction site here now is that I will need to somehow fill in the inside of the eyelet here. Here I had this measurement thing. So this was from the corner of the eye to the inner corner of the eye. Now inner corner of the eye to the corner of the eye. This is nice. So I will have to extend this edge down and put this onto here. So I think this will be the first thing that I do right now, is to fix the inner eye here. I think I can just extend it like this. Here it just needs to be a bit on an angle. That means I cut this away and yeah, this can be used on the inside here. I open this. So here, this is just a little hot fixing and trying to rebuild the surfaces. This is quite good actually. So here I will take a little bit more glue than the bare minimum, for I really don't have a very nice surface to stick it to or to glue it onto. I want some glue between the edges here. Okay, that's a good start for the inside. of the eyebrow. I try to get rid of all the stuff that has some hot glue on it, for it will just weaken my wood glue. If I can't rub it off like this, I will just try to cut away the top layer, and this way, yeah, expose like fresh cardboard. Okay. Okay, this is it's better. It's not perfect here. This eye is a bit too wide in this direction as compared to this, but that will be fixed with some additional layers of cardboard to the inside of the eyelid. So I can get rid of the hot glue now. I will need to build up some structure here in the corner of the eye. Okay, it's like this. And here I will just glue a couple of pieces on top of each other and try to build like one big thing that I can push in there. Yeah, this all this could have been avoided if I would have been a bit yeah, I don't know. If I would have used more concentration, used more concentration. Now, I should have checked all the proportions more regularly. And if I remember it right, I was sometimes just happy, or I felt lucky that it all came together the way it did, and that like that clouded my judgment on it, I think. Maybe I was just lazy. Maybe I just wanted it to move along faster, so that there's a bigger difference between the start of the live stream and the end of the live stream. But that kind of backfired. But me trying to look at the positives, I could demonstrate or show to you how I deal with this kinds of situations. Or it's not the first time that I had to get back into some stuff. Here, I want this to push it just in there, this piece. Raise it down. Okay, this corner of the eye is nearly taken care of. Here the whole inside of the eye is like that's not very problematic. For I will, once the main surface is done, I will cut out the whole inside of the eye, finish the shape to the inside of the eyelids, stuff like that, and then I will build two separate pieces that will become the glasses. Inside the mask. Now I prepare some pieces of cardboard for the inside of the eye. And this way I can fix the issue that this eyebrow here, this inner thing, is higher as compared to this thing here, or to this side. And here it is actually not that hard, for I have a corner I can put it in and like really mark it down quite well. And I will duplicate this piece for this will be the next layer on the inside of the eye. Now I can but it was like this. I can glue this in. Yeah, and then one more piece and then another piece, and this should help to finish up the inside of the right eyelid, or what I call eyelid now, upper eyelid or upper eyebrow. Okay. And then what I've done before, this like smoothing off of the edge of the eyebrow, I will just repeat that. Once all the cardboard has been applied to the inside there. I mean, now I had to do it 2 times, but in the end it will have been worth it. I will, no, I take it in the hole. Yep, now this brings down the eyelid considerably. And now for this outside part, I just want to blend it into into the lower piece. I don't really want it to sit on top of it, for the inner corner of the eye is good as it is on that side. I apply more glue now, for there's some cracks and creases in the layer below, and I want the glue to really fill them out. You can see them especially here on this side. Okay, here is a little gap which I will close with some leftover pieces. Here it will be like this deep and just this wide, so I can just flush it with some glue and put this in there. Okay, nearly rescued. The right eye has been rescued. It has been rescued. There's still some problems with the symmetry, but for me to be able to see them more clearly, I now will cut away the cardboard that I added to this cheek, and I try to do that in small cuts, for the cardboard is still a bit dry. And I don't want to rip it from the surface. And once I have a little piece, for everything that I cut off, I have to make sure to press down on the cardboard again, for when I'm like moving my way through the cardboard, I always rip the layers apart. Maybe here the knife can fit in. Yep. Here you can see it when I cut like this, that there's always the tendency that I rip everything apart. For this not to be a problem, I will apply glue now to the surface that I cut. Or here, if I pull it away now, or pull it apart, you can see that there's quite a lot of separation. But this will always happen if you cut any kind of surface, any kind of cardboard surface, before it has completely dried. For I didn't, here with this, I did not rip it apart at the surfaces that I glued together, for they stick together. But these surface will come loose from the wavy part, and the same on the other side. So the gaps that will appear are on the inside of the material, for this is the weakest part now. Okay, here I think it's visible from the top. It's better as compared to before. Now there is a little here, the inside here is a bit different, but I will not address that any further. Here I will just fix this little section here, and once I'm done with that, I will get back finally to address what we had, or what I had been working on before all these fixing stuff came in. Okay, one more piece on top of it. That's nice. And one cut like this. And here I will actually insert the glue into all the cracks that are present here, so that everything connects with each other. For the structure needs to be strong for when I start to cut out the eyes. I don't want important pieces to break apart. This is still a bit high, but I think I will just address that when everything has really dried. So let me check for more parts that are not in line with what I want. Here, this top part here is way too prominent. This has to be brought back a bit. But I like the curvature on the top. It will just, I will just fill in here some stuff here from top to bottom, and in this way I will close this gap a bit. For right now, here, this is very curved, and then here is a curvature thing going on, and I want to bridge it in between. Not too much, just a little bit. And here, I will use some thicker cardboard for it. Yeah, from there to there. This might be good enough for both sides. Now I will pre-bend it into the direction that I want it to move. Okay. Yeah, and I will apply it here. And for here there's a very steep angle there, and it's much easier if I like angle the top of the cardboard here. This way I can really attach it to the curvature. And I think I will do the same thing on all four edges of the cardboard. Left, right, up, down. And this way, the seams between the different pieces of cardboards will be less pronounced. Which on the other hand means that I will have a lot less trouble with cleaning up all the edges and seams and all that nasty business. Okay. Here now I will push the glue to the inside of this piece of cardboard, so it gets, so the glue can soften it, and this way it's much easier to like have it follow the surface that I intend it to follow. Okay. This side was the upside. So this, is a kind of a steep angle on the top here, and here the curvature on the back is way too strong for me to really push it down, but maybe if I give it some more time to really soak in, so if I give the glue some more time to soak in, maybe it will work. But right now I can just like hold it down for a prolonged period of time. Even though this is like a fast drying wood glue, the problem is that if it's just like dried, like I don't know, if it dried just for 1 minute and I release my hands, then it will rip up certain layers of cardboard, and in this way it will kill what I try to achieve here. For cardboard compared to wood, is just it's a multi-layered thing, and the here you can see this wavy thing, and the adhesion, so the way it is glued together is not it's hard for me to explain it right now, but you will have to really push it down, especially when you try to have it move from one curvature into the next. You will just have to apply pressure for something like, I don't know, 2 minutes, something around that that mark. But this starts to look good. And just if you compare this side now, here you can see that here is the highest point of this curvature, and then like smoothly flows into the neck area. And here is still how it looked before on the other side, and there's just like this. Okay, yeah, my machine once again blue screened on me. It's very, very annoying. Now, yeah, half the stream left. Yeah, that's that just sucks. I'll have to find out, or I will have to work on that. I don't know. Okay, there's yeah, I need clamps to keep things in place when gluing, or something to watch in the meantime. Yeah, clamps would really help. But here it's hard to reach this this part of the model. And yeah, as you say, or you would watch something in the meantime. That's exactly what I would normally do. But here I just try to talk the time away. And yeah, try to have it be not unnecessarily boring, but yeah, I'm just making a semi-decent job of it. But I'm trying. Here now, same thing for the opposite side. Here I can use the angle that the cardboard has for the lower side. Here. I'm just it's hard for me to type with one hand. Okay, as I did it on the opposing side, here I try to angle the top of the cardboard. This blade starts to get dull. Yeah, maybe I will change it. Here I just try to make or have the edges conform to the angles that they will encounter. Yeah. And now on this side I will actually get rid of this placeholder geometry here. For everything here will be replaced by like real geometry and not just this abominations. Yes, I think this is a good placement, and the whole curvature flow looks much better with this with these fixes applied. Here I push it into the cardboard. I'll add some additional glue to the center of this piece, and then I will give it a short time to really soak in to the cardboard. Here, I put it there. So, and then it should be then I should be able to really push it in there. And here, as you can see, this is here got a very slight curvature to it. Can you see that? So, and this is like I like how now this curvature flows into this and then into the neck. I'll have to cut some additional pieces, but okay, no. I won't have to do it back here, for this part will be cut away. So, yeah. First, I will first apply this and then compare the curvature on both sides, and just then I will decide what I will do next, or where I will. So, same deal as before. The cardboard tries to get away. So I have to apply a lot of pressure to it. But yeah, it should start to stick within the next 60 seconds or so. Okay, and all the while I try to push it in the middle here, for I want the curvature to slope in and out. And once the edges are securely in place, then I can worry about the secondary edges. For the main focus of this right now are the top and bottom edge, and once they are firmly in place, I can start to worry about these secondary edges, which are here and here. And the one in the back is like not even secondary, for it's just right on the edge of the part that is going to be trimmed away. like completely drilled away. Okay, here. While I press this in with the one hand, I can check for the other edges that are still freshly glued, and can try to sculpt them a bit. Try to have them sculpt them to their final position. For the glue on the inside of the cardboard, the glue that I pushed in, will stay sculptable for way longer than the surface glue. Okay, this starts to be a pleasing curvature here, and yeah, I start to like it. And now I'm like extremely sorry, but I really have to go to the bathroom. Here I try to make an interest, or I try to arrange an interesting picture for to help you with the wait time. Maybe like this. Okay, I'll be back as soon as I can, but it shouldn't be more than a couple of seconds. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for waiting. This can be removed. Okay, this curvature here really starts to look quite pleasing to the eye. Now I start to remove the pieces that I don't need here, and as you can see, the curvature needs to be blended in this part too. Oops. I still have some of the same cardboard here. Here it will, and up to here. Okay. And what I will try to do now is I want this part to overlap with this part, but for sure not the whole piece of cardboard. So I will try to cut just the top layers here. And then I will rip them away. Now here there's still a layer left, and I hope I started to cut into it. If not, I try to cut through everything except the lowest layer. Yeah, it seemed to have worked quite all right, or quite good. And this way I can overlap this part with this part, giving me something of a continuous surface. Okay. I don't need this for the whole length here, and I will even get rid of more of this stuff. Not everything, for it's still nice to have it as a reminder for the angle that I want to meet. Now I will pre-treat this the same way as I've done with the other parts. Yeah, I want it down here. I will pre-curve it in this direction. Even though that was like the wrong side. And what I notice now is that the direction of the cardboard is exactly opposite to this one. Here, and that's something I don't like. Okay, it's I can still switch the directions, but it means that I will have to address this overlap issue again. And why here I really try to make sure not to damage the top layer of the cardboard. Okay, I will pre-angle the upper edge, and I will do a rough cut around the features that I want to preserve. Now, in a way, I'm just trying to create my own little building blocks here to help me achieve a smoother surface. And I want to have the I want to have like not uniform, but a very, this looks nice, a very averaged curvature across all pieces that I lay down to better sell the illusion of this being a single part once it's finished. Okay. This should do the trick for this side of the helmet. And I will not push any kind of glue into the front of this piece of cardboard, for I don't know if I will be able to continue on this piece of the helmet today. And if I would push in some glue there and it would dry, I would have a much harder time to address this edge here. Okay, there's still some pushing and pressing left to do here, but you might be able to see that the curvature really starts to flow around this side of the helmet now. Here I get the curvature from the top and I like deliver it to the bottom, and from the front to the back it starts to be a continuous something that looks like a continuous surface too. That is quite good. That's what I want. Can you see this like really flowing into it here? And same for here. I like it. I like it. Now I will have to insert the same piece of cardboard on this side. And I will get rid of just as on the other side. I will just peel it up. It looks worse before it starts to look better. And I've still got some of this cardboard left. For this is actually quite nice to help me blend the surfaces. And I think I might even pull this down all the way. And now I have to make sure again what the cardboard direction was like, but it's going down like this for the most curvature is here. Okay, this. I think here, this is all I need. And I will once again create an overlap between the two pieces. Okay, I need a little bit of curvature in this direction. Actually, in the opposing direction. No, this is not the same cardboard. Here, this, which I just took here right now, is just a single wave cardboard, and the other piece was a double wave. I hope I still got some of this left, for it was perfect for this kind of work here. Oh. Right now I'm not able to find another piece of this kind of cardboard, but I definitely want to use it. So I will have to look in my cardboard stash, and yeah, hopefully I'll have some there. Double. This sucks. Okay, I'm not 100% sure if this is the same cardboard, but this is a double wave cardboard too, roughly the same thickness. Now the color is different, but I hope it performs comparably. I keep all kinds of cardboard in my boxes, for it's always there's different cardboard for different techniques and for different parts of the model. Meaning it's always helpful to have a bit of variety there, from ranging from thickness to strength to the amount of layers it has, like single, double, or triple wave even. Then there's cardboard with, let me show you. here on with this cardboard, there's like 2 wavy layers, and the one is very thin and the other is thick. Then there's stuff where both have the same width or thickness. So, and some are made from really strong paper, some are from really light paper, so on and so forth. There's a lot of variety to the cardboard, and it's always nice to have something of a variety to choose from. Okay. This will end up down here. I try to build this overlaps again. What really helps when I can just glue the surface areas together. And here, when I'm taking out the in-between layers of cardboard, I have a near flush thing between both layers, which really makes it much easier, or helps me a lot in the next steps that I have to take to achieve a nice surface. And this particular cardboard seems to be glued together quite well. For it's quite a challenge to separate the different layers of cardboard. Okay. Here I will pre-bend it into the direction that I want it to flow. Then again I will angle it off at the top. Okay, I will angle it off at the bottom. And on the front side, then I should be finished with preparing this piece. Then I could start to glue it in. First I push it to the insides here, and just after I've done that, or after I've given it some time to soak in, then I will add a final amount of glue to the center of this piece of cardboard. Okay, and I will press it down. Not too much in the center, or I don't want it to moisten the layer beneath it. Okay, this cardboard is even a bit stronger than the one that I used before. So there's more effort required to push it down. Okay, I think I need to let this dry overnight before I can really continue to make something meaningful with this. For everything is a bit wet now. Like here, the top is still wet. These sides are wet, and I don't want to move in there now. Yeah, I think I might stop the stream for today. It's 3 hours now. And I think I will watch this for a couple of hours just to pick up on all kinds of different proportion issues, and I might fix those kind of issues while not being on the air, so while not streaming live. For I think this was kind of boring today. For half of the time I was trying to rescue the proportions of this eye, and here's stuff like this. When I'm just here like pushing stuff from the left to the right, I don't think it makes for a good live streaming. I think at least some stuff should change with the model. And here I like here this curvatures now, how they move in here, but yeah, basically that's everything that happened now. Here I just smoothed off the edges here on the top of the helmet, here, and then I glued in some pieces from top to bottom on this side, and the rest of the time I was just like I was just fixing my mistakes that I made before. Yeah, I will try to put in a bit more of preparation for the next stream. I thank everybody that watched and gave me the pleasure of attending. Attending is the wrong word, but I know, but I don't know the right word. Of being here, of joining in, and yeah, I think I will be back live streaming tomorrow, like at the same time. That's like 9 o'clock European time, Berlin time, 9 o'clock in the evening. And yeah, I hope to see you then. I will give a bye-bye to the chat. Bye. Bye. Thanks for being there. And with these words, I will stop streaming, of course. Me and Vaders say bye-bye. See you next time.